If there's one skill you can learn to take you from an average passer to a high-level precision passer, it is being able to diagnose a defense at the line of scrimmage and knowing what the defensive play call is before you even snap the ball. There is one QB in NFL history who perfected this skill and made it a vital part of his success and changed the way the quarterback position was played forever. Peyton Manning would get to the line of scrimmage as quick as possible so he could diagnose what the defense is running, allowing him to always ensure he got his offense in the perfect play to take advantage of the weaknesses of that defense. So I wanted to take those skills that Manning perfected and bring them over to Madden and build a scheme where everything was dependent on reading the defense at the line of scrimmage and getting into the perfect play call and picking them apart. I call this my Empty Manning scheme, and we are going to be in the Pittsburgh Steelers Playbook. Now I'm going to leave a link down in the description below for a playlist with everything out for this scheme so far that you guys should definitely check out after this video. And if you want to unlock even more of this scheme and take it to the next level, I have even more breakdowns and setups for this scheme on my site, Scheme Kings, to make this one of the best passing offenses in Madden 22. Then up on the site today, I'm going to be doing a video breaking down how we read defenses at the line of scrimmage, specifically with my main two formations in this scheme, Empty Trey Stack and Empty Bunch. Then in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down how to read the defense in more of a standard 2x2 set and a standard 3x1 set. Okay, so the first place you are going to look when you get to the line of scrimmage, I don't care what offense, what scheme, what formation you are in, you are going to look at the safeties. Now you are checking if the middle of the field is open or the middle of the field is closed. What that means, if the middle of the field is closed, it is single high, one post safety up top. Then if the middle of the field is open, that is either going to be two high split safeties or a cover zero with no safeties back look. Then after that, I like to look at the cornerbacks. So are they inside, outside shade, or head up? And how much cushion are they giving the wide receivers? Then after that, if you're still unsure, that is when we can look at the nickelback and the linebacker. Then once again, we're looking if they're inside shade, outside shade, or head up, or if certain receivers are uncovered and there's no one playing over top of them. Okay, so those are our keys. So let's say we get to the line of scrimmage and we see two high safeties, middle field open. Let's go break down the options that they can be in defensively and how we determine what they are in. All right, so as soon as we see two safeties high, that really narrows down the possibilities of what the defense is going to be in. So right away, we are going to be thinking either cover two man, or cover four, whether it's match coverage or cover four drop. Now this is 2x2 against cover two. So the first key, guys, is going to be the safeties split. So two safeties back, but they're actually going to be at 14 yards. So that's going to be the first key. But where we really need to narrow it down to differentiate between those three coverages, now we have to look at the corners. So we see here, the corners are going to be 5 yards of cushion away from these receivers. So 5 yards distance in between the two. Then they're going to be an outside shade. So you're going to see here, they're just a little bit outside of this player. Right away, if we see that, we are thinking cover two. Then the third key is the nickelback is going to be 4 yards off, so a little bit in front of the corners, and then he is going to be head up, so no shade at all. So that's first 2x2. Okay, now 3x1. Once again, 14 yards, exact same. Cornerback, same thing, 5 yards outside shade. Nickel, 4 yards head up, the exact same thing. But one of the big keys here that you're going to see a difference between some of the other coverages, both of your linebackers, both of his linebackers are going to stay in the box. Number 3 is going to be uncovered. So this inside receiver, we call him 3. It's going to be 1, 2, 3 right here. So 3 is uncovered. There's going to be no one standing over top of him. Okay, now we're in 2x2, but against cover 4 quarters, match coverage, any of the cover 4 family. So the first key, same thing, safety split 14 yards. So that's not going to help us differentiate between, these three defenses, but it's going to narrow it down that it's going to be one of these three most likely. Then now, cornerbacks 7 yards. So they're actually going to be noticeably deeper, 5 yards to 7. You can definitely pick that up, on the field. So that is going to be the really big key difference between a cover 2 and a cover 4. And then once again, the nickel head up at about 4 to 5 yards, so gonna be very similar to cover 2. Okay, here's match coverage against 3x1. Once again, safeties 14 yards back, same thing. Corners 7 yards off outside shade, same thing. Nickel back, same thing. 4 or 5 yards deep, head up on the number 2 receiver. But the huge difference between cover 2 in a 3x1 set and cover 4 is number 1, the corners, but number 2, now there's gonna be a player out over top of number 3. So cover 2, he's gonna be open. There's gonna be no one standing here. In match coverage, this player is actually gonna walk out and stand over top of them. So that's gonna be a huge key if you're running a 31 set as opposed to a 2x2 set. Okay, then the last one, when we see these 2 safeties high look at 14 yards, we can think 2-man under. Now this is gonna be their stock 2-man under. People can disguise it, they can back off, they can do different things, but if they're gonna run it stock, this is what it's gonna look like. Really easy key. Obviously, everybody is gonna roll up and press. So we're still gonna have 14 yards. Everyone's gonna be playing back, but everyone is just going to be pressed up, and they're actually going to be inside shade as opposed to outside shade in the other zone coverages. So that one should be pretty simple, pretty easy to read, but that is the key. Now 31 set, exact same thing, 14 yards, but now the linebacker is going to come out and press on number 3. So that is going to be the really big difference. Other than that, should be a really easy key for you. And obviously guys, this is just the breakdown for these 2x2 and 3x1 sets, kind of these standard sets. But if you want to see the breakdown for how to read a defense when you're running Empty Trey Stack or Empty Bunch, definitely go check out Scheme Kings, because part 2 of this video is going to be up on the site right now. Okay, so here's really quickly guys, just the key differences, how to differentiate between these 3 keys. For cover 2, cornerbacks at 5 yards outside shade, nickel at 4 yards heads up. Cover 2, pressed inside shade. Cover 4, any of the cover 4 family, cornerbacks at 7 yards outside shade, nickel 4 yards heads up. Now, obviously, there can be different versions of all these coverages, can throw other coverages at you, but this is going to be a very good baseline. Then you'll be able to start to recognize other coverages, other curveballs they are throwing at you. Okay, so now you get to the line of scrimmage and you see middle field close. You see one single high post safety. Okay, so that really narrows down their options, but let's go dial it in even more. Okay, now we're looking at the single high family. That really limits them to 2 defenses basically. They sometimes can throw a curveball at you, but about 95% of the time, they are going to be running one of 2 defenses, either cover 3 or cover 1 man. So really, we're just trying to differentiate between those 2. So the first key, safety, single high safety. We see that, we know right away. We're thinking one of these 2 defenses. Now, the other thing with these 2 guys, they are tougher to tell. Those double high looks, 2 safeties back, they are honestly, once you recognize what you're looking for, pretty easy to tell what they are in. But the single high is a lot tougher. It's definitely not as easy. So our cornerbacks are going to be at 7 yards and head up. They're not going to be shaded. They're just going to line up, head up. Now our nickel, he is going to be 5 yards and outside shade. So this is going to be the nickel. And now he's going to be outside shade on this player. Then last key, strong safety is going to be down on the tight end side. So here's the tight end, and he's going to be more at about 4 yards where this player is at 5. So they're going to be, just staggered by a yard. Okay, now we're looking at cover 3 versus 3x1. Once again, single high safety. Now cornerbacks at 7 yards head up, exact same thing. Then nickelback, 5 yards outside shade. So basically the same thing. Then strong safety, he's going to be down on the solo side. This is where it's a lot easier to tell is a 31 set, but strong safety down. Then our linebacker is going to be out over top of number 3. So that is the difference with a 31 set. Okay, now cover 1 2x2. Once again, it's going to be single high safety, then cornerbacks 7 yards, head up, no shade. Those players are going to be basically looking the same as cover 3 to cover 1. Now, this is where you can start to see a tell though, guys. Now this player is going to be about a yard closer and he's going to be head up. So in a cover 3, he's going to be outside shade. So he's going to be more standing like this. Here we're head up over top of the number 2 receiver. And then once again, the strong safety is going to walk down, but he's actually going to be a little bit deeper. Before he was about here, now he's about a yard deeper. So those are, little tells, but they are there. So if you're really dialed in, you will be able to tell off of those keys. Okay, now this is where it's a lot easier to tell in a 31 set as opposed to a 2x2. The big difference, once again, single high, safeties at 7, head up, Nickel, once again, 4-ish yards, playing head up, not outside shade. But the big difference in cover 3, the strong safety is going to walk down to the solo side, but now he's going to walk down and man up on number 3. So that is going to be a huge tell. There's going to be no one overhanging here. He's just going to be head up on this number 3 player. Okay, so here's the key differences, guys. Both cornerback 7 head up, nickel 5 yards outside shade, nickel 4 yards head up. In 3x1, strong safety down on solo side. In 3x1, strong safety down over the number 3 receiver. And then right here, linebacker is going to be in the box as opposed to the linebacker is over number 3. So my face was in front of that little bottom section there. So just to touch on it one more time, in 3x1, strong safety down over the number 3 receiver and the linebacker is in the box. So that is it. Okay, so now you get to the line of scrimmage and you see split safeties, but they're no longer deep. They're actually closer to the line of scrimmage, closer to the ball, or you see no safeties at all. Everybody's in the box or split out wide. Okay, now we're looking at zero coverage, guys. This is when they're bringing the dogs. We definitely want to be able to recognize this because this means they're bringing heat. Now, obviously, there's a bunch of different versions of zero blitzes. We're just going to go over this over Storm Brave. It's a very standard one, but there's other ones where the safeties will actually even come out wider. If, let's say, you're bringing a nickel off the edge, now this safety is actually going to start standing over top of this player. So it's another huge tell, but basically the first tell is they're going to have 2 safeties back here, but instead of being at about 14 yards, they're at 9 or 10. So that is going to be the huge key. Then once again, cornerback 7+ yards. There's a slight inside shade, but not really enough to tell at the line of scrimmage, but it is there. And then now Nickel's at 6 yards. So he's starting a little deeper and he's going to be inside shade. Okay, here it is against a 31 set, guys. And once again, look at the safeties at 10 yards, but now look at this safety. He's playing directly over this player. That is going to be the huge key. He's going to be playing man coverage directly lining up over number 3. Now, like I said, different variations of zero blitzes, you're going to see slightly different looks, but as soon as you see the safeties either not starting in single high or at 14 yards split wide, then we pretty much are sure there's a zero blitz coming. So being able to read a defense at the line of scrimmage and getting yourself into the perfect play call is great, but it means nothing if you don't know how to attack the coverage that they are in. So if you want to see a complete guide on how to attack every coverage in Madden 22, you need to check out this video right here.